Hello dear cut and sew tribe, you welcome to cut and sew tribe channel. For all our returning subscribers, thank you guys for your support. Today we are going to learn how to recreate this dress. It has two steps, ruffles. I'm going to show you how you can neatly sew down the ruffles on the shoulder. And for the placket on this dress, it is just an illusion. It has been sewn down, so that means at the back of this dress you are going to put zipper for ease of wearing. And if you look at the length of the placket, it is longer than standard length, so I used about 19 inches. Do you get it now? So without further ado, let's just get into the detail of the tutorial. Now for the required materials, you can use any fabric of your choice, but in my own case I'll be working with this lace fabric. I have 4 years of fabric here, so this totally depends on the length of the person you are working for. And you are going to need any button of your choice just to decorate the placket area. And I also have my matching zipper. So because this fabric, the fabric I'm working with, it is white, so I'll be using white chalk, and that means you may not see the chalk very well, but if you follow the direction of my hand, you are going to understand everything. I hope you understand the reason why I am using white chalk. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to measure the length of my gown, the desired length of my gown. So you are going to use your own accurate measurement. In my own case, I'm working with length 60. So whatever length you are working with, just measure it and add extra 2 inches. 60 plus 2 is going to give us 62. So I'll go ahead now and cut 62 in two places on this fabric. 62 in two places. So the 62 is going to be one is going to be for the front and one is going to be for the back. Don't forget to use your own desired measurement. So I'll just go ahead now and cut it out, and we are going to continue from there. So this is it. I have cut out my fabric. So can you see the first one is on fold, so, and that's going to be for the front block, and the back one I added 1.5 inches to it for the zipper allowance. So that's our back. I have cut it into two. The front is going to be on fold and the back is going to be cut into two. So this is the leftover fabric. Now the next thing to do now is to just go ahead and cut out this dress. So I'll just go ahead and measure my shoulder measurement. So make sure you have your fabric arranged properly. So the shoulder measurement I'm working with is 16 into 2 is going to give us 8, and that 8 I will add half inch. So you are going to add your seam allowance because we are cutting directly on the fabric. So I have 8.5, and that is what I've chalked down. Like I've said earlier, you may not see the chalk, but if you follow the direction of my hand, you're going to understand it. So that's 8.5. Can you see it? I brought it down to my chest line. So you are going to measure your 8.5 on the chest line as seen. Can you see it? So I just go ahead and connect it back to the upper part. So this is going to serve as your armhole depth. So the next thing I want to measure now is going to be my waist measurement. From shoulder to waist measurement I'm working with is 18 inches. Don't forget to add extra half inch. You are still going to join it on the shoulder, so I added extra half inch to my length from shoulder to waist, and I measure from shoulder to hip, which is 25 inches plus half. It gave me 25.5. Do you get it now? So on my chest line I'll go ahead now and measure my bust measurement divided by 4. So whatever your bust measurement is, just go ahead and divide it by 4. In my own case, my bust measurement is 44 inches into 4 is going to give me 11. So whatever your bust measurement divided by 4 is, you measure it, and you are going to add ease of half inch. I added ease of half inch because it is just the dress is a little bit loose. So you come to your waist as well, waist divided by 4, whatever yours is, divide it by 4 and add ease of half inch. So I'll do the same thing on the hip, my hip into 4, and I added ease of half inch. So I'm going to connect the 3 points together. Mind you, the ease I am adding, the half inch, it is just the ease measurement, just to create a little bit of free movement. It is not a seam allowance. Now I'll go ahead and add my seam allowance. I'll just be adding 1 inch seam allowance to this dress. Do you get it now? 1 inch is just okay. So I'm going to add the 1 inch to the waist, the bust and the hip. So, and I'm going to connect it like so. Do you get it now? Now whatever I have on my hip, the total measurement I have on my hip is what I will measure now and take it all the way to the hem. Do you get it now? So I will go ahead now and measure what I have on my hip after I have added my seam allowance, and I will go and measure it on my hem. And I'm going to use my straight ruler like you are seeing, just to connect it together. Can you see it? So this is almost ready now to be cut. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to work on the neck. So we have not to work on our neck. I'm just using my hand to show you the direction of my chop. Can you see it? So now let's work on the neckline. So for the neck width, because I want the neck to stand properly, I will not be using 3 inches. Do you get it now? So for the width, I will use 2.5. So this totally depends on you, but if you really want that neck to be firm on you, I suggest you use 2.5 inches. So this is it. I've measured my 2.5 inches, and for the depth, I'll still retain the 3 inches. So I'll measure 3 inches for the neck depth. So this neck measurements I've just called that for the front. Do you get it now? So I'm going to connect the 2 points together. My neck width, I use 2.5, the depth I use 3 inches, and I connected the 2 points together, as you can see. So the next thing I'm going to do now, I'll go ahead now and just mark my shoulder slope. I'll be using 1 inch for the shoulder slope, and I'm going to connect it back to the neck tip. Can you see it? So for the back neckline, the depth is not going to be 3 inches. I will use just 1 inch. I used 1 inch, and I'm going to connect it to the width. So that means the back neckline, the width is 2.5 and the depth is 1 inch. So for you to cut the neck area, the first you are going to cut is going to be the back, because I chalk it together. So please don't make the mistake of cutting the front neckline first. So you can just go ahead and cut every other part of this dress. I'll cut out my armhole as seen, and I'm going to cut out the shape. So now it's time to separate the front neckline. Can you see the way I lifted up the fabric? And I'm going to cut out the front neckline. So this is the shoulder slope. I will cut it out. Now this is ready. Now I've just packed them aside, and we are going to work on our ruffles. So I'll cut out my ruffles from the leftover fabric, and I'll be using the salvage part just the way we have it on the thumbnail. So we have two steps. The longer one is going to be 7 inches, and the shorter one, the one that will be on it, is going to be 4 inches. So I am creating like 3 inches interval. Do you get it now? So now I'm going to fold my fabric like so, and I'm going to measure the 7 inches for the longer part. Can you see it now? The longer the width of this fabric, the fuller your ruffles. Do you get it? But I think I use about 75 inches or thereabout for the width of this ruffle. So that means the height is 7 inches by 75, but this totally depends on your preference. So I'm going to measure 7 inches by 75 for the first step, and the second step I'm going to measure 4 inches by 75, and I will cut the two of them out. So this is what we have. I have cut them out. Can you see? This is for the first one, and this is going to be for the second. So I'll put it aside now, since I have cut out my ruffles. So I can just go ahead and cut out the band of the sleeve. So I'm going to fold it like so, and I'm going to cut the band of the sleeve. Now for you to get the length of the sleeve, so it all depends on how long you want it to be, but in my own case I used 10 inches for the length of the band. So I measure 10 inches. Can you see it? 10 inches, and I'll just cut it out. So this is what I will be using for the two band of the sleeves. So I have cut it out. Can you see it? So when the time comes, we are going to attach it to the sleeve part. Now the next thing we're going to do is to cut the upper part of the sleeve, and I'm going to cut it using 90-degree flare, just to achieve the fullness we have on the upper part. Do you get it now? So I'm going to measure from the starting point. I'm going to use 15 inches so that you can have excess, just like 2-3 inches excess, to puff it on the elbow. Do you get it now? So what I'm trying to say is that the length of this upper part is going to be 15 inches instead of the normal 12 inches. I added 3 inches to the length of the upper part. Do you get it now? I added 3 inches to the length of the upper part, and the reason is that so that you can have space of like pushing it up. So on this 90-degree flare, so this is what I want to do. I'll just go ahead now and measure my armhole cuff. Can you see it? So I'll just chalk it out like this. So you can just be free on it, because you know it is free on that part. Can you see it now? So I'll just go ahead and chalk out my armhole. I will make sure I have enough fabric there for my armhole. So from this part now that I've chalked the armhole, I'll go ahead now and measure the length of my sleeve, the upper part, which is it is supposed to be 12 inches, but I added 3 inches to it, and that made it 15 inches. So I'll measure it across. Can you see it? So this is the 15 inches. So for this sleeve to be rhymed on the hem now, I will come to the upper part and measure from the tip like so to the 15 inches point, and I will rotate it. Can you see it? So you need to do this so that your sleeve base can rhyme. Do you get it now? So I'll chalk it out, and I will cut 2 pieces of this. Do you get it now? So this is what we have. By the time you've gathered it, it's going to give us the shape we want. So this is it. This part is going to be for the band area. Do you get it now? So I'm going to cut 2 pieces for the band and 2 pieces for the flare. Do you get it now? So you need to use the measurement. You are going to need 2 measurements here. The measurement on the elbow area and the measurement on the wrist area. Do you get it now? The measurement on the elbow and the measurement on the wrist area. So that means this is not going to be straight like that. So by the time we are going to sew it, I'm going to shape it out. Do you get it now? So I've cut out these pieces, little piece, just to finish up the hem of my band, the scallop, just to finish it up. But if you are working with any other fabric that doesn't have scallop, you can just go ahead and just sew down the hem. Do you get it now? So the next thing I'm going to do now is I will take it to the sewing machine. I'm going to attach the scallop to the one side of the sleeve, the band, that part that will go to the wrist. I will attach it to it. So I'm trying to measure the wrist circumference I'm working with, which is 8 inches. 8 into 2 is going to give me 4, and I added half inch to it. Can you see it? So I've cut it out. I used my elbow and wrist measurement to cut the band. So if you observe, you will see that this band is not straight. So that part that is smaller is going to be for the wrist, and that's the part you are going to attach the scallop. You are going to place it right side facing right side before you sew down. Now I'm going to work on the ruffles. I'm going to show you how to place your ruffles neatly. So you don't really need to cut this upper part, the yoke part. We are just going to create a form of yoke illusion. So from the center neckline, I will be coming down by 4 inches. So, and if you look at the placement around the shoulder, it is towards it, the ruffles is very close to the armhole area. So from the neck tip as well, I will measure 4 inches. So whatever you measure, you make sure you rotate it. So I'm going to measure that 4 inches across using my pencil now, because I am working on a very delicate material. Even the chalk I was using is giving it one funny look like that. So I'm going to carefully just chalk out the shape. The reason why you are doing this is just so that it can be convenient for you. Now the salvage we have cut aside before, can you see it? I'm going to place the two of them on each other. It's as simple as this. So I'm going to place the two on each other, and I will take it to the sewing machine. I will go and run my gathers on it, and I'm going to measure the circumference that I have chalked. This, can you see it? I will measure it around like so. So whatever you get is what you are going to gather on your ruffles. Do you get it now? So I'll just place it on each other. Can you see it? So I've achieved my 2 steps like that. So, and I will sew it on the line. So this is what we have. I've gathered it using the circumference of the circle I have created on my dress. So can you see it? It is not too full and it is not too scanty. So this is what I really wanted. Do you see? Can you see it now? So this is what you want to do. So I need you to watch the placement. I am placing it right side facing right side, and I will carefully follow the shape I have, and I'm going to sew it down. Now if you are working with Ankara fabric, before you can sew this down, if you want to achieve a very nice finishing, you make sure you weave the edge. But in my own case, the fabric I'm using is not fraying, so that was why I did not serge the edge. Do you get it now? So I've sewn it down, and this is what we have. Can you see it? The placement is accurate. The shape is straight. Now the next thing I want to do now is I want to create my placket. So if you look at the placket we have on the thumbnail, it is plain material, but in my own case I will be using the lace material, but then I went ahead to line it with my taffeta. So I cut 3 inches for the width and 19 inches for the length. Do you get it now? So the 3 inches now, I'm going to fold in half half on both sides. So I'll fold in half half on both sides using my iron. So at the end of the day, the width of my placket is going to be 2 inches, while the length is going to be 19 inches. Do you get it now? So I'll take it to the sewing machine first. I'll sew it down, both the lace and the taffeta. Can you see it? I've sewn it down, and I want to get the midpoint of this dress. So I will get the midpoint of this dress. You can use your iron to get the midpoint, but as of the time I was filming this tutorial, there was no light and I wouldn't want to use stove iron. So that was why I was trying to just get the midpoint, but I will advise you use iron to get the crease line on the center. Can you see it? So I folded the part that will go to the down part. I just folded in ½ inch. So now this requires a lot of patience. We fold in the ½ inch for the seam allowance, and I'm going to pin it down. I'll be using my pin just to hold it down. I'll pin it down on both sides, and I will just take it to the sewing machine to sew it down. So I have manipulated the fabric. Can you see it? I have sewn it down. So this is what we have. My placket is ready. Now, because I've sewn my placket down, I can now go ahead now and finish up the shoulder. So this is me trying to place my back block on the front block. So right side facing right side. So can you see it? I'll just pin it down. Now I need to show you something on this ruffles part. So you know the ruffle is already on the front block and it is entering the shoulder, but you don't want it to obstruct you when you want to fix your sleeve. So you are going to carefully push it in. Can you see the way I'm trying to just tuck it in a little bit, the tip of it? Can you see it? So that by the time I want to fix my sleeve, it will not obstruct me, and I'll just pin it down. So I have the tip of the ruffles dropping like this, and I will just finish up my shoulder. So this is a sewing technique on how to finish your ruffles, the one that is not going to the back. So any ruffles that are going to stop on the shoulder, this is how to finish it up. Can you see it? So the ruffle is staying separately, and I have the space for me to fix my sleeve. So that's the same thing I'm going to do on the other side. Now if you are working with Ankara fabric, you need to finish it up. Sew down that part, just finish it up so that it will not fray. And you are going to repeat the same thing on the other side. You are going to have space for you to sew down your sleeve. So I'll take it to the sewing machine. I'll go and do those things and we'll come and continue. So this is what we have. I have sewn down my ruffles on the shoulder, and can you see it, that the ruffles did not enter the armhole area. So that is just for us to be able to fix our sleeve easily. Now the next thing we're going to do now is I want to measure my neck circumference, total neck circumference I have here. So I have measured it. Whatever you have is what you are going to use to cut your band, your neck band. So this is what we have. I am going to line it the same way I line my placket, and that was why I cut out this plain fabric just to serve as an underlaying. So I'll cut it out now. I'll go and hold it together with my machine on both sides, and I'll come and show you how to attach it to the neck area. So I've sewn it down. I'm having it as a single piece now. So this is what you want to do to attach it to the neck. So you are going to take it from the inside. Right side of your neckband will be facing the wrong side of the fabric. I hope you get it. Right side of your neckband will be facing the wrong side of your dress. Can you see it? I've pinned it down and I'll go and sew it down. So I've sewn it down like this. Can you see it? So I'll go ahead now and fold it in, pinning it down as well. Can you see it? So just go ahead and pin it down, and I'll go and sew it down to achieve a neat finishing there. And after that, I'm going to fix my zipper. So this is what we have. I have fixed my band, my neckband, and I have gone ahead to fix my zipper at the back. So I left about 9 inches space at the hem, just for ease of movement. You know, this is not really like a line gown, so I left 9 inches at the back for ease of movement. So back to the sleeve now. I've gathered the hem of the flare like this to the circumference of my elbow. So, and I'll go ahead now and attach my band to it. So right side will be facing right side. Can you see it? And I'll just sew it down on 1/2 inch seam allowance. So I'll repeat the same thing on the other side like so, and our sleeve will be ready to attach to the bodies. So this is it. I've prepared my sleeve. This is what we have. Can you see it? So I'll go ahead and notch the sleeve at the center so that I can attach it to the bodies. Can you see it? So before we attach it to the bodies, I will need to just shape this dress, so using my seam allowance. So you can just go ahead and reconfirm your measurements before shaping, but in my own case, you know, I just added 1 inch seam allowance. I'll go ahead and shape it out now. I will attach my sleeve, and boom, this dress is ready. So for the hem that I left open, I will just use hemming gum to finish it up, and I will display it on the mannequin for you to see the final outlook. So this is the final outlook of our dress. I hope you find this tutorial helpful. If you do, kindly give us thumbs up. Do not forget to subscribe to this channel for more interesting tutorial, and turn on the bell notification so that you'll be notified anytime I upload another tutorial. I'll see you in the next class. Till then, keep practicing. Bye.